Hi friends, I'm excited to share a new layout with you today for the Shimmerz Paints design team. I am using the March Color Kitz and I absolutely love everything about the colors in the kits this month. The colors are bright and happy and they went perfectly with the photos that I am going to be scrapping today. So what I did is I started with this beautiful polka dot or dotted patterned paper, and it's from the March Color Kitz. And I took some white gesso and then I just spread it on the background with my finger. And I have a brayer tool. I have tools that I can use to do this, but it just seems to work best when I use my finger to do that. So that's what I did here. And I'm just going to spread it around. I did want to white out some of the color, some of that patterned paper, as well as I wanted to protect the background because I'm going to be adding a whole bunch of color to it. So it served two purposes here. And then it will dry pretty quickly because I am spreading it around with my finger. So I did give it a few moments to dry. And then I started adding colors. So this first color that I'm adding is a Colorings, and it's pink stilettos, and it is a spray, but I am applying it with my paintbrush just to try to control where the color went because I really wanted it to stay in little pockets of color. The second color that I'm adding is and it's that purple color is called Shimmerz Stay Positive. It's hard to say. It's a play on stay positive, but it's stay positive. And so that purple is very shimmery and shiny. And then the yellow is called Daffodil, and that's a creamies. So it comes dry, and then you just activate it with water. And it does have a satiny finish, so it's going to have a little shimmer to it as well. And then I'm going to add that. So the main thing here that you'll kind of notice is I am going with a paper towel to dry up a little bit of the wet parts as I'm going. I do not want the colors to blend. So sometimes my whole point of adding colors together and beside each other is for them to mix and blend. But here, really with the application that I'm doing is I wanted them to blend maybe just a touch on the edges, but I did not want them to mix. And so I was, tried to be a little bit careful about adding more color in areas that were already wet. So for example, that pink, when I added it, I, applied it, and then I kind of used a paper towel to dry up some of the wet edges before I added the next color. And then there you saw that I did the paper towel. So some of the colors would look fine if they mixed, like the pink and purple will look fine together mixed. The yellow and pink would look fine, and then the green and yellow would look fine. But the purple gets a little tricky when you start talking about mixing colors because like the green and purple would not do well together. Purple and yellow is not something you really want to do, and purple and orange is definitely something you don't want to do. So I did try to make sure the colors were a little bit dry before I went and added another color right next to it. So the green, I forgot to say that one. The green is a Colorings, Don't Citron Me. And so that's also a spray that I added using my paintbrush. And then the orange, I started with the Shimmerz Peaches and Cream, which is part of the March Color Kitz. And then I added on just another color, which is Shimmerz Carrot Top. And that's just one of my favorite oranges, one of my favorite Shimmerz colors. And then the blue, in the Color Kitz, we got Freshly Minted Twinklings. And the Twinklings is absolutely beautiful and fabulous. But it was a very pale blue color. So I actually went back and added, I think that it is a Shimmerz, and it's Pull Me Close. So that blue, that more vibrant blue that you see there is Pull Me Close. So that is definitely a more vibrant color than what was in the Color Kitz. So I wanted something with equal intensity for all of the other colors, and I got that there. But then I did definitely go back and add the Twinklings, freshly minted, that came in the Color Kitz on top of that. That's what I'm doing right now, because I wanted all of that beautiful shimmer and shine that the Twinklings offer. So I did go back and add some splatters of that around. And you can kind of see, like, I dry some off, and then I want to go back and add a little bit more because I do want the color to be bright and vibrant. I just didn't want the colors to mix too much. So I'm kind of oscillating here between drying it up and then adding more because I want the vibrancy of the color. So the colors in the color kits are absolutely fabulous in both the papers and the paints, and then also the embellishments and everything else. So this now what I'm doing is I cut the word Candyland because it goes with my photos. I cut the word Candyland on my Cricut, and I actually downloaded a whole big font bundle from Etsy, and so it was this font was one of the ones from the font bundle. I don't even have a name for it. It just was one that I found, and I liked how fat the letters were, like that they were kind of like chunky and stout. And so I cut those. I thought it kind of looked the letters look a little bit whimsical, kind of like you would imagine the world of Candyland to be. So these photos that I am scrapping are from the Father Daughter dance that happened a few weeks ago, and the theme of the event was Candyland Ball. So this paper was actually ended up being just perfect for the photos that I'm using it for. It would also be perfect really for any bright, happy memory that you're scrapping. I could also see there are some really cute shamrocks and some kind of March embellishments in there in the ephemera and in the paper. So I could totally see doing like a St. Patrick's Day layout with it. But for me, as soon as I saw the colors, I was like, oh my gosh, it's perfect for my daughter's dress. And the whole event was so cute. And my daughter and my husband had such a great time. So I wanted to go ahead and scrap these photos right away. It's kind of unusual. I'm way behind on my scrapbooks, so I don't usually scrap something so soon after it actually happens. But for these, I just wanted to go ahead and do that because I wanted the memories to be fresh, and the colors. I couldn't resist the colors of the kits. So here what I'm doing is I am taking this pattern paper and just punching some holes. I'm going to end up cutting those little circles in half and making a banner out of those. But I did want to say for the title, I forgot I was talking about the event, got carried away. For the title, I cut it on white, just regular white textured cardstock, and then I used the colors and the color kits to paint that. So that top layer is painted, and then I just backed it on a piece of purple cardstock that I had from my stash. So that's that double layered title. And then I've got my little half circles for the banner, but I did need to go ahead and glue down my photos and my title so that I could see where I wanted my banner to go. So the photos I popped up on craft foam. And then I'm also popping up the title, just the parts of the words that are hanging off of the photos. I did not add more craft foam to the parts that are on top of the photos. So I just kind of added that craft foam around it. And then with these little half circles that I cut, and it's actually a little bit more than halfway of the circles. I did them just a little bit more than half, and trimmed off the tops of those. And then I poked two holes in each of those on either side of the half circles. And then I just used some embroidery floss and a needle to kind of sew them together. I just used the needle to pull the thread through the holes because it would have been hard to do that otherwise. So I created that little banner, and then I am going to put a tiny piece of craft foam on the back of each half circle, to go ahead and pop that banner up so that it's at the same level as the title. And I am sorry, my voice, I've got here in Texas, it's getting hot and then cold and then hot and then cold. And so it's wreaking havoc on my allergies, and I sound weird, but hopefully it's not too aggravating to listen to. Okay, so here I am adding the word ball. So I cut the Candyland part, and then I'm using thickers. I just had some multicolored thickers that have little white polka dots, and I thought that was perfect to go. So I did Candyland Ball as the title. And then I'm going to add a few more little things. So some hearts coming out of the top of the photos, and the circle paper on the background, and then cutting little circles for the banner was really perfect because, and I don't know if you can see close enough in the photos, but my daughter's dress kind of goes with the theme of the event, and it had little pom-pom balls all through the dress, then all different colors. So it looked perfect with this pattern paper on the background and all of the colors here. Okay, so I pulled out some things from the ephemera set. So these little film strip looking frames. I pulled those out of the ephemera set, and I loved the colors of those, kind of that, is it chartreuse, that lime green color? I think it's chartreuse is the word that I keep searching for in the back of my mind. And then the purple or lavender frame is super cute. So I am going to just trim off the pieces that would sit behind the photos because I've already got the photos glued down. So I just kind of trimmed those off. I did distress the edges of those, and then I'm going to glue them flat to the background because everything that I'm going to put on top of them is going to be popped up. And then there were a bunch of hearts in the ephemera set. And so I trimmed off the white borders from those hearts, and then I'm going to be gluing those looking like they're coming out of the top of the photos. I am doing a little bit of tangled thread behind some of those. And I'm just using my, that's an dry embossing tool to kind of help me spread that thread around. And I want my messy tangled thread to be just perfect, which is kind of counterintuitive because it's supposed to be like tangled, messy thread, but it has to look exactly like I want it to in my mind. So I always play around with it to try to get to look exactly right. And then these little hearts that I'm cutting right now, it's supposed to be little glasses, heart-shaped glasses, but I didn't think that I would use the glasses in that way. So I just cut them apart and used them as two separate hearts. And I do use both of those on this layout. So I'm going to layer that first one kind of on top of that turquoise or that light aqua heart. Oh, sorry. Thought I edited that out. While I was making this layout, all of my scrapbook girls were at my house. And so we were watching shows and talking, and I had lots of footage time where I'm like talking with my hands and telling a story or listening to their stories and things. So I had to do a lot of editing on this video because it's always fun when you have a bunch of people to scrapbook with, and I got a little distracted some of the time while I was working on this. So I used yellow tangled thread and orange, and I think I have some pink in there at some point. And I kind of make my tangled thread like kind of in a little nest, and then I add a little bit of glue to the top of it to kind of hold it while I play with, whatever's going to go on top of it, or, get it ready. And there's all different colors of hearts that were in the ephemera set, so I loved going through and picking out the ones I wanted to use, trim the white borders off, and then I did distress the edges of each of those hearts. And then I think all of them I ended up popping up on craft foam. Oh, there's some green thread. I'm gonna get that just right. Gonna kind of play around with it to get it right where I want it. And then I've got that heart ready to go on a piece of craft foam. And then I do leave the threads long, but then I go back and try to trim off so that there's not too much loose thread hanging around. I want it to look messy, but not, you know, over the top. So I then took some patterned paper. I love that striped patterned paper. And I added, just with a black Sharpie, I took it and made some lines that I'm going to do some journaling on right there to the right of the photo. So I'm going to glue that down. And I didn't want to cover up all of that beautiful color that I have on the background, but I did need to add some journaling and kind of tell about the event. And this will be a series. I kind of have a series of pages that I'm using to document this dance. So this will be one of several layouts that I have. So I went ahead and added, kind of told the story of what they did. And then I'm going to add a little bit more, a few more little embellishments here down to the right of the title. So there was that black and white striped, kind of whimsically striped circle, and it kind of reminded me of the balloons and the different things that they had at the dance that kind of looked like peppermint candy or something like that. So, and I liked the contrast of the black and white against all of the colors. So I thought that was kind of cute, and it helped tie in the black journaling that I had done. And then this was one of the pieces of Flair, or the epoxy stickers. And it's just a stripe that matches that patterned paper. So I added that with some tangled thread behind it. And then there were 2 strips of hearts. So in that ephemera set, so one of them is going to go down there below the title. And then at some point, I think I'm going to add the other one to the right of that right photo. It's going to kind of sit on top of the photo. So here I'm adding sequins from the sequin set that's in the bonus bundles for March. And I absolutely love, this is one of my favorite sequin sets we've had in a long time. So actually, I love all of them. I think I say that every month, but I love this sequin set because it had some fun, lots of fun colors of sequins. And then it also has like little clay pieces, like little circles that almost look like candy. That are all different colors. And so I was able to mix those in as well. And it just is so happy and perfect for all of the colors in the patterned papers and the paints. So I thought that was perfect. And then I took pops of color here, and I'm adding just a few little dots around in coordinating colors with what's already going on the layout. And then there is some close-up video of that the final layout, and you can see all of the colors. I did go and add splatters of each of the colors kind of on top of each other. Once everything else was dry, I added some splatters of different colors on top of the paints to add some variation, and I love how that ends up looking. So that is the final layout. If you have any questions, be sure to pop them down in the comments. And then if you place a Shimmerz order, be sure and put my name, Sarah Millerhouse, in the comment section to get a free paint. It's always fun to get something free and play around with some more colors or mediums from Shimmerz Paints. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day and get to find some time to create. Bye for now.